Flippin' Fantastic Podcast, episode 57. I'm Alicia the Inked Picker.
58.
Oh my gosh, I read 57.
I just went over.
Oh my gosh,
I
yeah,
should have just left it and just put the open there.
That's okay, that's fine. What was it?
I'm a
58,
87
guys.
official. It's 58, whatever. It's whatever. It's whatever. How is everybody?
Hope you
Hope
all
you're
had a
having.
good week.
Yeah. Mentally I'm struggling, but it's also raining here. It's only Wednesday. It's hump day, but it's been raining and there's no sun. And I keep telling myself when the sun's out, I'm gonna go for a walk,
Right.
but it keeps raining. So, and years ago when I went to a couple when I left my job, I went to a couple therapy sessions, and she was like, "You got to go out even if it's raining and take a walk."
Oh no.
And I'm like, "Oh no, it's pouring out. I'm not going."
Someone said mow a raincoat.
No. I mean, I have a raincoat. I have rain boots because I used to have to do bus duty. No, thank you. I mean, I'm more likely to go if I was already in a walking, if I was
Right.
already in that, you know what I mean? But it really is pouring today. Like I went and got my kid at the bus stop because it's a hike from where he has to come from. So, and they don't wear coats or anything. So,
Right. Well, speaking of therapy and stuff, I finally went and got medicated last week. And I haven't been on
Yay, good for you.
medication in
Congrats.
4 years.
Yeah.
Maybe I stopped cold turkey on everything because nothing was helping, and then
Yeah.
it got to the point where I'm like, okay, I think I need to get on medication again. So I did, and it's something I've never been on before, and it makes me tired. So I actually fall asleep at a decent time because I have to take it at night.
Yeah.
And I actually have when I wake up, I actually feel the need to get out of bed. So usually I'd wake up and stay in bed for 2 hours. Now I get up.
That right now.
I get up, I scroll on my phone, I check eBay, whatever, for about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll get up out of bed and I'm ready to
Oh,
go.
that's awesome. That's nice.
Yeah, so
That's great.
So that part's good.
Mm-hmm.
And other things that I'm not going to get into because it's personal stuff, but
Right.
regardless, I'm getting good sleep. And I
That's
have
good.
gotten good sleep for about a week now, which is crazy. And I actually get tired at a decent time. I haven't naturally gotten tired in a long time, but now I'm starting to get into a sleep schedule, which is really crazy. And I've been getting up every day around between 8 and 9. I've been getting up, which is not typical. Usually it would be 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
And then stay
Well,
up
that's
till
me right
2
now.
a.m.
See, now the universe is back in balance because I am doing that again. I was being good, and then my thing happened, and now I can't sleep. I have to. The last couple nights I've taken a melatonin because it's the only thing that'll knock me out. It's not that I can't sleep, but it's I don't fall right asleep. So then I just get the thoughts creeping, So, I mean, and mine's I mean, it's because of what happened with my sister, and it's, hopefully time,
Right.
will just quiet my thoughts, and I don't know. I also went ghost hunting last weekend on Friday night. So, and we were out really late. So, a couple of our members are doing a show with a guy that he's been on TV and he lives around here. Anyway, they're doing a YouTube kind of thing, and we went, and it's an hour and a half away in PA, and it's actually in near Lancaster, and where Crazy Lamp Lady does all her shopping around there.
Okay.
And but we were there at night, and I didn't get home till 4 a.m. So that on top of everything else messed me up. I mean, I had a good time. I was glad I got myself up and out of the house and everything, but that messed me up sleep wise. So I've been staying up playing video games too late, and I have to stop. Like, and today I was like, I'm gonna get up early. I got up at around 8:30. I set my alarm, and I only had slept a couple hours. But I was like, I'm gonna get up because then I'll be really tired earlier and I'll go to sleep. And I sat in bed for a little bit and I fell back asleep. So that plan failed.
Sounds like we like switch places because
Yeah,
before I was the one
exactly.
staying up late playing video games.
Yeah, so but hopefully I'll get out of this. If the sun comes out, I will be more likely to kind of force myself out of bed and like take a
Mm-hmm.
walk. So
Right.
hopefully, and the thing is it's kind of warm out. It's like in the 50s. So if the sun were out, it would be really good walk-in weather. But
I'm
it's
waiting for it to
crap.
get nice
So
here. It's still like it's decent out. Like I'll open my
mhm.
window, but it's not warm enough for me to want to go on a walk because I don't want to be cold and on a walk. So I'm waiting,
Yeah,
but we're supposed to have a really nice day, I think, this weekend.
yeah. I don't even know
So,
what our weather is. I I will go as long as this. I need the sun. I need sunshine. I need some natural occurring vitamin D. It really does make me feel better. Ooh, I bought a new chair, and FedEx is dropping it off right now.
ooh, that's exciting.
I was influenced. I bought one of those chairs that are on like TikTok and Instagram that I don't know, they call it, is it like the crisscross chair? Like it's wider and
Yeah,
I
so
don't
you
know,
can
everybody
sit
says they're really
crisscross on
comfortable.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm old and I'm like I have to think of what else to call it because I want to call it the other name that we used to call it when I was little. Um which was Indian style. But you can't say that anymore. Crisscross applesauce. I learned that when my kid was little. I'm like,
Call it the
okay, wait,
applesauce
what?
chair.
It like it's not that old people are trying to be offensive. It's that we have to think. My brain is mush anyway. Anyway, yeah, so I got one, so it's out
That's
there. So
exciting.
that's my other thing. So I want like, I've been trying to get out of here for like 6 months and put my stuff in the other room and crap just keeps happening. So hopefully that between that and my desk that's sitting downstairs that needs to be put together, I will get out of this room.
That'd be awesome.
But anyway, yeah, sunshine. I need sunshine. I need it. Really was feeling better when I was taking a walk every day. But we'll see.
I'm since starting the medication, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start trying to eat better because one of the side effects, well, one of them was nausea, which I did have the first night I took it, which is weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy, if it's gonna be like this every night, I don't know if I can do it. But then weight gain is another one, I guess. So I'm like trying to be
It is
conscious
for all
about
of them.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to be conscious because that's a little alarming when you're already like, oh, weight gain. This medication, you just never know how it can react with you. So I'm like paying
Yeah.
more attention to what I eat. But since I'm feeling happier, I don't feel the need to, soothe with food or whatever,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Stressy.
But yep, I either stress
Yeah.
eat or I don't eat at all. So it's one of the two. But so that's doing better, and yeah, I want to start going on bike rides because we have a lot of trails around my house.
Mhm.
Like
That's
we're a
nice.
block away from a big one here in Lincoln,
Yeah.
so I want to start riding my bike again because I enjoy bike ride. I don't like walks. It's like not enough like enrichment at one time. Like I get
Mhm.
bored on walks, so bike riding.
Yeah.
There's more to it. Um,
Mhm.
But yeah, well, last week was crazy because first I, went and got medicated, and then I don't know if you saw this in our little chat we have, but I was parked at an estate sale in my car, and I was FaceTiming my friend, and some guy pulls up and sideswipes my car.
Oh no, I missed that.
Yeah,
I'm
so
kind of like half lurking, but I miss a bunch of stuff
right.
every once in a while.
Yeah,
Oh
I put it in
no.
there as after it happened, I like had to
Oh my
vent in
god.
there. I'm like, some dude effing hit my car, or I said I wasn't even effing moving. I was so mad
Oh
because
my
my
gosh.
car is my baby. I love my car.
Yeah.
I treat I
Did he stop?
my, yeah, he did. He was
Oh,
also
okay.
going to the estate sale. He just
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
watching where he was parking.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And he like tries to downplay it. He's like, "Oh, it'll buff out." And out of anger, I was just like, "Yeah, well, my dad's a mechanic."
Right.
because
I
he's
was
trying to downplay it to me.
Mhm.
And I was like, whatever, dude. And he's just like, anyways, we exchange info, and I
Mhm.
have a digital insurance card. I don't
Mhm.
get the physical ones anymore.
Yeah.
I just have an app on my phone.
Mhm.
So I had to screenshot it and send it to him. That was a mistake because we exchanged insurance info. He says sorry, it was his fault, blah blah blah. We go into the sale, and he gets to talking to me, and he's trying to, or sorry, this is before the sale. He's like, "Oh, just, I have a buddy that runs a body shop. We can get it fixed up for you really cheap, blah 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 blah." I'm like, "No, I I had a whole
Right.
thing with body shops because I had another incident a few years ago that happened, and I had to get the front bumper replaced.
Mhm.
And it was someone had a spare tire on their truck, and it fell off the truck and fell into the road, and I couldn't react fast enough, and I ran into the tire.
Oh,
It
yeah.
ended up falling on me as my fault for
Mhm.
insurance, so I had to get it fixed.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was my first ever like accident, so they took it off my record, which is good because I'm like a clean record type person. Otherwise, it bothers me. um, and I'm not a bad driver. I don't get in accidents. I just like to drive fast. But anyways, um, oh, I forgot where I was going with it. There's so much going on. Anyway, oh
What?
yeah,
You gave
he
him your
tries to
number?
like, right, and he tries to kind of say that he'll just pay me um cash to fix it, or he'll like have his buddy fix it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Go into the sale, and I found some great stuff at the sale. I found some beautiful glass, really cheap. I found one of the ceramic Christmas trees. It was a two
Oh,
foot
yeah,
tall
yeah.
one for
Mhm.
$25. And I
Nice.
actually sold it yesterday. It was supposed to be 100, but the lady, like, as she got here, tried to talk down to 80, and I said I'd do 90. So
Mhm.
$25 and a 90.
Yeah.
So that works.
Was
Um
I don't wanna get you off track. Was it vintage
yeah,
or was it one of the newer
Yeah, it
ones?
was one of the old ones
Nice,
with
nice,
the
yeah.
old lights and everything. It was
Mhm.
missing like 3 or 4 of them.
You can get the lights anywhere. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, so and it worked. It had a little music box on the bottom of it too, but it didn't
Oh, cool.
work, and it
Oh.
was also really loose. So
Mhm.
anyways, I go into the sale, I make this huge pile, and the guy's in there too, and here he was trying to, sort of kind of pay me off and not go to insurance, and he
Mhm.
didn't even have money to pay for stuff at the estate sale. He tried to pay with a check, and they wouldn't let him, so he had to leave and go get money.
I
While
was
he
taking a
left,
check.
he was spam calling. This is like an older dude. I would say he's probably in his 60s.
Oh, okay.
I start getting spam called by an unknown number while I'm in the checkout. I'm just like,
Mhm.
whatever. I like cancel the call. I'm like, I don't really answer unknown calls.
Right.
And then I get a voicemail, and it says, "Hey, this is," I forgot what his name was. This is so and so. I'm the one that hit your car. Call me back, please. Please don't report me to insurance. I'll pay you cash. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like, I didn't want to deal with you. And like the
Mhm.
ladies at the sale even saw I got in an accident. And you're like, oh, you're the one that got hit right outside the sale. I'm like, yeah.
Mhm.
I was pretty mad because as soon as I got hit, I started honking. I was just like, hey, I'm here, dude. You just hit my car, and I wasn't even moving.
You saved that
I was
voicemail?
pretty heated.
You saved that
Yeah, I
voicemail?
did. I did, because I was like, part of
Yeah.
me was like, he might try to say it wasn't his fault or
Right.
something to
Uh-huh.
his insurance since I reported, but I had
Mhm.
the voicemail and the transcript. So
Yeah.
it actually says, I'm the one who hit your car. So I saved
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
I don't answer him. And anyways, I report it, blah, blah, blah. Yesterday, his insurance calls me, and it's like the assessor or whatever. And he's like, "Hey, I need to come look at your car for this claim. I need to take photos." And he's like, "I already know you got an estimate." Oh yeah, and I went and got body shop estimates about $1,600 worth of damage to my
Mhm.
car. And the assessor comes and looks at it. The assessor's not very nice. And then he also like, we have cameras on our house, right? And my husband was home, and I told him the assessor was coming. And over the phone, the assessor was like almost trying to make me. He's like, "Yeah, the guy that hit you says he wants to try to settle it outside of insurance." I'm like, "You're
Mhm.
the assessor with the insurance." But of course, they want me to settle outside of insurance because the
Right.
insurance is going to pay me.
Right.
So, anyways, he comes over. My husband's like listening on the cameras. He had the cameras pulled up because we have one right in our driveway, and he was just there just in case something was to happen. And
Mhm.
he's like, "Yeah, it seemed like he was really trying to get you to to just settle outside of insurance. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this dude. I don't know what kind of person this guy is.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't want to talk to him. I didn't even respond to any of his phone calls or anything. But anyways, the assessor comes up with like $1,400, so about 200 short of the estimate I got from the body shop, and I decided to just take it. So at some point we'll get it fixed. Right now it's just a few scuffs. It wasn't anything major,
Mm-hmm.
but still my paint's damaged, and I take very good care of my car. My car is
Yeah.
my pride and joy, so I take very good care of my vehicle, and so of course it bothers me. So
Mm-hmm.
it might sit like that for a bit, but since this happened, I was like, shoot, if I put my car in the body shop, they said it would take 2 to 4 days, depending on how much of the work I want to get done to it.
Yeah.
Um, they would their insurance was going to provide a rental car. So in the case it happens to be like on a weekend, that's my instant thought. I was like, shoot, I'm not gonna be able to go sourcing unless I can
Right.
borrow my husband's vehicle or take our van, which is at as of right now still broken down. We need to fix a part on it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that happened, but they're sending me a check, and I was pretty upset. I'm usually pretty nice, but this guy was already just like, I just I didn't get good vibes from him, so I was already just kind of like not very nice, and I was just like, the first thing I told him, I got out of my car, I'm like, I wasn't even moving, dude. Like, I was so mad,
Right.
but I get it, mistakes happen, whatever. And then meanwhile, when this had happened, there was a guy parked behind me, and after I didn't exchange insurance info with the guy that hit me, the guy behind me gets out of his car. He's like, "Hey, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. It's just," and he's like, "You weren't even moving." And I'm like, "That's exactly what I told the guy that hit me." And he was like, "Going to the sale." And we kind of chit chat back and forth. And then we finish up at that sale. I go to the next sale, and that guy that was parked behind me was there. And I was like, "Yeah, the guy that hit me tried to pay me off and not like have me not go through insurance." And he started spam calling me. He's like, "Oh, that's weird." We get to talking. He's a reseller too. This guy that parked behind me and asked if I was okay, and we end up exchanging info, like Instagram. And he sells like a bunch of like vintage clothing here in Lincoln, and he actually knows of Carrie American Arbitrage,
Mm-hmm.
and he knows about Trash to Cash. And I'm like, yeah, well, I help manage their Discord server or being admin or moderator.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. And 2 days later, I think it was 2 days, or was it the next day? He messaged me. He's like, "Hey, there's an auction in town today." Like, I was getting ready to go out to eat with my husband and his friend, and he's like, "Hey, there's an auction today." He messaged me on Instagram, and he's like, "In case you want to go, here's the address, here's the time." And I was like, "Oh crap, I didn't know about this auction." So after we got done eating, we went to this auction, and I spent like 120, I think it was 150, 120. I got a bunch of stuff. There's only about 2 hours left. It was about halfway done when I got there,
Mm-hmm.
and found some cool stuff. I found a bunch of like the big mouth billy bass, the singing fish. There's all different kinds, even the one that's bones, and that's like a really sought after
Oh,
one.
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
It's like it was like big mouth billy bones or something. It works, but the tail doesn't. The mouth and the body work though. And those
I have
things are
one that
loud.
kind of doesn't work. It works a little
Yeah.
bit. Uh,
I don't think I've
I
ever
haven't.
had one that actually works,
Yeah, I
like
know.
fully works. Um, a whole lot of brass. I got an old lava lamp, but it's like the cone shaped lava lamp, not like the typical shape one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, lots of good stuff. That was really cool. So now I have another reseller that lives here that I have a connection with, which is really cool.
Yeah,
And yeah, that was last week was very eventful. So it was like whole thing with the car, meeting a new person, going to
that's
this
cool.
auction, getting on medication. It was a whole thing last
You
week.
you got a lot
Like
done.
one thing after
I
another
barely
after
got.
another.
Now, my car, I had that. Remember when you were on Nurse Flipper? I
Hmm.
got rear-ended, and
Yeah.
uh, so my car just finally got fixed. It's just like um they're so backed up around here. Like, well, it took till after the holiday, after Christmas and New
Hmm.
Year's, for them to like kind of get it together. Anyway, which is fine. Um, and my car was drivable. It just had some dents in it, and then But anyway, like they're just so backed up, and like, like we had all this schedule, like we had all this going from like the end of January, but they just don't have enough people. Like I don't like these body shops and stuff. But anyway,
Mhm.
it got fixed. And they were saying it was going to be a long time. So I did have a rental car because it was over a weekend, but
Right.
I had a rental car for about 2 weeks. It was there for a week and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. And the rental car was nicer than my car because my car's like 11 years old. Like it's,
Yeah.
um, and there's some
Mine
things
will
that
be
don't work anymore that I'm like, I want this car. The only thing that was weird. Okay, so I have what do I have? An Equinox, yeah, which is like a small SUV. And it's not my favorite. Anyway, and they gave the rental, we just asked for whatever. They give you comparable, right, to your car. And they gave me a mid-size one. It was a GMC Acadia. And so I dropped my car off at the shop, and the enterprise guy comes, and we go out to the car, and he's like going over it, and I have to sign things and stuff. And then he's like, okay, you're good to go. So I get in the car. It was running already. And I'm like, I fixed the seat and everything because I need to move it up a little bit, and then fix the
Mhm.
mirrors. And then I go to put it in drive, and I'm like, there's no shifter. So I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
is it one of those dial ones?
No, I'm like, is it on,
No?
like, because I learned to drive when the gear shift was on the steering column. It's not there. So I sat there I'm like, okay, there has to be a way I put this car in drive. There were buttons, and it's like, so the display is here, right? I'm like trying to do
Uh-huh.
this. The display is here, and then it kind of goes in, like the dash thing. And in there, or on my car, I still have a CD player. In there is buttons. Park. The park when you push, and the drive, and the neutral, and the reverse, you have to pull. Like they're like switches. It was so weird.
Oh.
It was very weird. That was the only thing I didn't like about that car. Otherwise, that car was way nicer than mine. But yeah, so I just got my car fixed. But like I said, probably this summer, maybe we'll start looking at cars.
That'll be exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's a 2012, so it's about 12
Hmm.
years old, but
Yeah.
it's the fanciest car I've ever had.
Yours is nice.
It's got
Nice.
it's got
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
but the panoramic sunroof, which is fine. I don't like sunroofs anyways,
Uh-huh.
so
The
but it's got every
yeah.
every bell and whistle that I think that these cars come with,
Yeah.
except that.
You you also have a dad that does car stuff, so like
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
plus. Well, this car, it just like, well, here's the problem. My husband likes to do stuff himself, which is fine for changing oil, but not
Mhm.
for trying to fix the vents that don't work on my car. So like he took the entire under the dash, like all the panels off. They're still in the
Mhm.
garage. Like he never put them back on to try and figure
Oh.
out because it stopped coming out this way. Like
Mhm.
it comes out because if it stopped all the way, he'd have to do something because if the defrost didn't work, that'd be a major problem, right? I
Mhm.
mean, I've lived with a car where air conditioning doesn't work. The air conditioning works. It just doesn't come at you. So none of the ones on the dash work. The ones up top for, at the windshield work, and the those ones work. And at your feet work.
Mhm.
But he can't seem to fix. My car also does this weird thing and it only started this like recently. When the oil, and he changes the oil, but he doesn't do it like every 30,000 miles. We just kind of go by at this
Mhm.
point, we just go by hey, it says change the oil, you know? I don't, like, it's not like I drive like, millions of miles. So,
Mhm.
but when the dash tells me that the oil percentage is below 40%, it does this thing. I don't know why, but like when you stop, it starts to buck. Unless if you put it in neutral, you're fine. If you don't,
Uh-huh.
if you're just sitting there idling, it it goes, "Puh, puh, puh," and then it'll
Hmm.
or it'll do it too sometimes if you're sitting, you turn it on, you're sitting, like I'm sitting in the driveway, and then I go to back out. It doesn't usually happen in my driveway because my driveway's short, and by then I'm in drive. My
Mm-hmm.
driveway's longer, and if I back out of it, it dies. It'll stall out. Same thing if you're sitting like at a light or something, and you let it do this this weird bugging thing. As soon as you put oil in it, it stops.
Hmm.
Like, so the last time, but before it got fixed, it was before we took it in, it was doing that, and he didn't have time to change it. So I was like, well, just put some oil in it and see if that helps it. And it does. It stops. I don't know why. So those are the
Any mechanics, if you're
time.
listening,
Yeah.
why does
What?
most car do this?
Well, people, the Chevy hate will come out or whatever, but I get a discount because my dad worked there. So, and he is 83 now, so we do have to get a new car soon because it'll be the last one with the discount. Like we get it at his cost, or
Mm-hmm.
like
Right.
as a previous employee. So and it's it's a pretty good discount, but yeah, so it's weird. So anyway, the the car I was driving was way nicer. It was newer too, so I mean that just
Mm-hmm.
makes it nicer. This car was. We had a nicer car before this that
Mm-hmm.
we drove for almost 15 years. It was bigger. It was an Envoy. Um, and I like that one. My husband's like, "Oh, you don't need a bigger car." But I was like, "I like a bigger car." I don't know. I like this one. I feel like you can't fit anything in the back of it. The used to have a Pontiac Vibe, which
Mm-hmm.
those little patchback looking things.
It's really close to an Equinox,
Yeah, it wasn't
right?
it's not a SUV or anything. It's like it was kind
Oh,
of like a
I thought it was like a SUV, like the
no.
Equinox. Might be thinking
Um,
the wrong one.
and I it's similar to a Toyota. They made them on the same line, like it was a GM Toyota thing, so they made them on the same line as a comparable Toyota. So they were
Mm-hmm.
like they crossed over with a lot of stuff. It I could fit more in that car than I could in this one. In this one. Anyway, that's my car story, and my car's fixed, so boo.
It also reminds me of I used to have a Mustang. That was my first
Oh,
car. That
nice.
was like my dream car.
Uh-huh.
It was like a 2000 Ford Mustang. It was like bright red, like cherry red.
Ah.
It was a V6, but like they
Mhm.
redid the front stuff, so it looked like a fast car, but it wasn't actually a fast car.
Mhm.
Um, but I remember the paint on it wasn't great. Like the person that had it before, like tried to do their own paint job. So like the front end didn't match the rest of the car, blah blah blah.
Right.
So it bugged me enough that my dad, he doesn't do body work usually
Mhm.
at his shop. It's usually mechanic stuff, but
Mhm.
to make me happy, he's like, I'll help, we'll paint your car. We ended up using some paint that we had for the motor home. It was like a really pretty dark, like burgundy color. So we ended up
Mhm.
painting my whole Mustang in this color.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So it like all matched. It was so nice. And I don't remember how long I had it, but it was to the point where it was last time that I lived here in Lincoln. I was on my way back home here from visiting my parents, and a deer, I didn't hit
Oh,
a deer
deer
ran
hit
into
you.
my
Mhm.
car. Yeah.
Yep.
So that ended up being, I forgot what it was. I think it was around 3 grand of like
Yeah.
body work, but I didn't end up ever getting it fixed because a little bit after that, I had two vehicles at the time because my Mustang
Mhm.
couldn't make it around in the winter here. So I
Yeah.
actually ended up giving both of those vehicles to my parents. They had given me the other vehicle. What was it? It was like a Saturn View. So it's kind of like a Equinox,
Yeah.
but not
Mhm.
quite. It was just a vehicle to get me around in the
Right.
winter.
Mhm.
And anyways, I gave the View back to my parents. They had given it to me as like a graduation gift just to get me around because they knew I was worried about getting around in the winter
Right.
here.
Mhm.
So I gave it back to them. I said, just keep whatever, because when you sell it, like just keep it because you guys gave it to me as a gift. But I was like, but for
Mhm.
my Mustang, I want, I think that's how it went. Anyways, but the Mustang, I paid for it, so I wanted,
Mhm.
whatever they got for it. They ended up selling it to their current neighbor that they live, like where they live
Yeah.
right now. They have my old Mustang. But then I used that money to buy my Chrysler in cash, so I don't have a car payment. I don't think
That's
I've
nice.
ever
That's
really
nice.
had. Oh, I guess for the Mustang I kind of did, but like my parents bought it for me and then I paid them back, so it
Right.
wasn't really like an official car payment.
Right.
But yeah, this Chrysler, I love it. My Chrysler 300, it's the 300C, which is like the luxury version. I don't know. There's like different kinds, but there's like the S for sport, which I like the S's the most. But I couldn't get that. And plus they have like bigger engines. I think they're more expensive anyways,
Yeah.
but
Well, and you fit
with
a
the
lot in
paint,
that car. I've seen it. I've
yes.
seen the proof.
I fit huge office chairs. Like I found one at
hmm
Goodwill for my husband.
Yep.
I barely got to fit in there. I fit a coffee table with two end tables in there,
Yeah,
just
I think
barely. Also,
yeah. That's the one
or
that's the
like
picture I saw. You fit a lot in that one.
right, or like I don't know what else I fit in there. I fit solar panels in there because my husband's friend was selling solar panels, and my dad wanted some. So
Yeah.
my dad paid, and then I ended up fitting the solar panels in my trunk, like just barely. Like I had
Yeah.
to put the seats down, and like
hmm
just barely it fit in there. When we moved, I fit a ton of stuff in there, and it's also great for garage sales season when I'm buying a bunch of crap. I've come home with my car completely full. Like you can't fit anything else in that vehicle.
Right.
So it's great. It's great for garage sales and it's
Yeah.
comfy. You can sleep in
hmm
it. I tested it out personally like 2 weeks
Oh yeah,
ago.
I remember you were saying you took a nap.
Um yeah, I love it. And it's got the heated cooled seats, heated cooled
Yeah.
holders. It's
See, now
got
I would like the I mean, I have heated seats. They still work in my car, but I would like to
mm,
have the cool seats, the cooling seats.
the cooled seats are really nice. It feels
Yeah.
like an air hockey table. So like that's what it feels like to me because it's got the little holes. It's perforated on like
Uh-huh.
the seat.
Yeah.
So that's what it feels like. So it's nice in the summer, especially if you wear shorts because these are leather seats.
Yes.
Because otherwise you stick to the seat. So,
Yep. I remember being a the car I have now doesn't have leather seats, but the last
uh-huh.
one I did had I didn't get my kid was little and he was in a car seat, so we didn't get leather seats in this one just for but anyway. Um I remember being little and my dad had this big Oldsmobile and it had leather seats in it and it would be and the interior wasn't black or anything. It was probably like it was like a brown, leather. But man, you would get in that in the summertime. Like my mom, they kept towels in there. You had to put a towel
Mhm.
down because it would it would peel the skin off your leg because it had air conditioning too, but it would take a while.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, those cooled seats really do help in like the
Nice.
summertime
hmm
if you need to park it outdoors for some reason. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just I think growing up with, my dad who's a mechanic, I
hmm
come to like nice cars
Yeah.
or nicer car or specific vehicles.
Right.
So at first I wanted a Dodge Magnum. That was like the car I
Oh
wanted.
yeah.
It's kind of like I don't know, my husband thinks they're so ugly. My husband's like, "Don't get one of those. Those are so ugly." I don't think they make them anymore.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
yeah, that was one car I really wanted besides a Mustang or like
Yeah.
I like
Now,
sports cars too.
what
So,
was your uh, uh what was your insurance payment on the yeah, my friend had a Dodge Magnum. I was trying to remember what it looked
mhm,
like. He had one. Um, what was your insurance payment as a teen with
with two vehicles
with an
or a
a
Mustang.
Mustang? Yeah.
I don't remember it being very high.
Yeah, I
I
guess
don't
because
think
you're
it
a girl,
was more than yeah, and I think I
maybe.
was on my parents'
Okay,
insurance
so
for a
it was
bit.
just like you're adding on. So my
Right.
husband, when he graduated from college, he was 21. And that's when he moved here. I didn't know him then. For his job, for the job.
Mhm.
And so when he got after he got the job because they did training in New York and then they brought them down here because they were moving it all down here. And he so he was like getting a new car. I forget what he had before.
Mhm.
He had like an old Buick or something he drove, and he he wanted a Mustang, and uh he got laughed at by insurance companies. They will.
Really?
They're like, it was either the payment was so high, or they were like, yeah,
Mhm.
we won't insure you for that. A 21-year-old male in a Mustang. So
I don't remember having issues with
yeah,
that.
I mean, he was on his own, so maybe like
Mm,
you being with on like still maybe on your parent, like a whole parent, you know what I mean?
mhm.
Um, because you still live there, right? Yeah, so maybe
Right.
it was that. But yeah, he was just actually talking about that the other day. He was like, yeah, he goes, because he called around to get quotes, and he was like, one insurance agent literally just laughed and said, no, we won't do it. So he ended up getting so this was like mid 90s, early 90s, early 90s.
Mhm.
He had a Nissan, um, is it a 240? It wasn't a Z, it wasn't a hatchback, but it was a little sports car and it was tiny. And he's a
Mhm.
big guy. Like nobody could sit behind him because the seat was all the way back. And
Uh-huh.
that car was like on the ground. It was on the ground. But we had that for a long time. He had it.
My
It had the lights that popped up. And
Oh.
toward the end, only one would come up.
Growing up, we had, or my dad had a ton of different cars. Like he had there's one called the Chevy Impala SS, so it's
Hmm.
like the super sport
Yeah.
one. He's had those. There's one that's called a GMC Typhoon, which is like they only made so many of
Yeah,
them,
I
but
never
they're
heard of
really
it.
cool.
Hmm.
That was fun. I remember him taking me to school in that. It's a fast little car too. It's a cute little car. I would own one if it
Yeah.
wasn't like I don't know. It's kind of if I could collect cars, that would be one I'd probably own because they're kind of cool. Um, all kind and like he would do like weird lifted stuff. So like a Chevy Tahoe, he'd lift it so it looks like a monster truck basically.
Hmm.
He would do stuff like that, and yeah, it was just really cool to grow up and experience all these different vehicles. So you could kind of, I don't know, as a kid, figure out what you do and don't like. And we also
Yeah.
used to go like four wheeling a bunch,
Oh
which
yeah.
I didn't realize it, but we used to do that a lot growing up. And I used to have like a sport quad, so you could race with it if you wanted to.
Hmm.
But learning the gear shifts
Yeah.
actually helps if you want to learn how to drive a stick,
Right.
which I've learned a couple of times, but I don't have a stick shift vehicle, so like
Yeah. I don't know
it
how.
falls off. But it's like
Yeah.
if I had to drive one, I
You
probably
could.
could in an
Yeah.
emergency,
Right.
but I don't know how, but a lot of people don't know how. So,
Oh yeah. I for sure. I I've done it a couple times, but not
mhm.
enough. Like I would in an emergency, we would definitely not get where we're going to outrun the zombies because I would stall that thing out all the time. But I, I've done it before, and I have the concept in my head. But I never. My dad, when my parents first got married, he had a stick shift, and he took my mom. This was back in the day when everything was
Mhm.
closed on Sundays, so you'd go to a parking lot, be empty, and he tried to teach her, and it didn't work, and they
Oh.
eventually got another car.
Oh, I also wanted to mention we did get a shout out on Trash to Cash podcast.
Oh,
Dave said
cool.
we are the best reselling podcast out there, apparently. I don't know why. Maybe it's audio because he's a big audio guy.
Yeah.
But we did gain like a few subscribers from that. So now we're at
Thanks,
170.
Dave.
So thank you, Dave.
Even
And
with our break, thank you.
yes. But yes, we are back.
Hmm. This is apparently we're a car show now. We've spent about 20 minutes talking about cars.
Yeah, let's
I
talk about
yeah,
reselling though.
I am in kind of like new car mode. I'm not a big car person. I'm fine with whatever gets me where it needs to go, but I
Hmm.
do like a new car every once in a while. And I after driving a nicer car than what I have, I'm kind
Hmm.
of ready for a new car. And like I said, it's coming up. We're like this summer we're probably going to look. Our mortgage is paid off. We're done with our mortgage payments in May, so we can
Hmm.
have a car payment. It's no big deal. Yeah, so I'm kind of like I'm gonna kind of look and see, what I want. Yeah, but I want something that I can, that can fit some stuff in. Plus, when we go on
Right.
vacation in this little ass car, excuse my language, um, we're like crammed in there. There's three of us, and there's not a big enough back seat for stuff.
Mhm.
You know, it's kind of that's all you can fit back there is your bags. And like if we go, like we like to go to the beach and stuff, and you end up
Mhm.
bringing your clothes, but you end up bringing like chairs and stuff like that, and it doesn't fit. So and my kid's not little anymore, so he needs a
Right.
little more room in the back seat than he used to. So he's adult size now. But yeah, so I would like something a little bigger. My sister had bought a new car this last year, and it's really nice. She got it's a Traverse. It's a large SUV, and she had like the 3-row seating, but you can fold down, fits a lot of stuff, and she got all the bells and whistles on it. It's like super nice.
Mhm.
But I think her twin, my other sister, is going to take over. She's she's moving. Her and her boyfriend are moving in together, and she's getting rid
Mhm.
of her apartment, so she won't have that payment. Her payment on her apartment, I don't know much, is like more than my mortgage payment. It's like ridiculous what those apartments are costing people around here anymore. But anyway, so she'll, save some money that way. But she's gonna take that car. But yeah, so that's another reason because I've driven that car a lot over the last few months,
Mhm.
and it's way nicer than mine. Car's
Last
important
week,
for a reseller. Car's important.
right,
Well,
speaking of vacation,
unless you're Matt, because
Matt.
ABC Matt gets out by
Oh,
without a car. He does it. He does it. I can't.
um, speaking of
Yeah.
vacation, the next thing coming up for us is next month in April, that festival I was telling you about, Sick New World.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
I told you last week after we'd gotten off of recording with each other, um, I had said that I was gonna try to get these tickets that were coming out like the next day
Oh yeah,
for a
yeah.
pre-show. So
Yeah.
here's the drama with that. Well, not really drama, but I had this is cool because there's a reselling aspect to this. So listen up, people. No, I'm kidding. Not really a lot, but anyways, they had announced a pre-show for Bring Me the Horizon and Spirit Box over at the new hotel in Vegas, like the Fountain Blue. I think that's how they pronounce it, but it's spelled like
Yeah.
Fontainebleau, which is how I could.
It's French. Yeah, French.
Okay,
Fontainebleau.
yeah. So they I was part of the pre-sale because I had bought tickets to Sick New World, and this is the Sick New World pre-show the day before. I had made sure with my cousin, like, hey, you want to go? She's like, yeah. I get in there. I get in line on Ticketmaster. I get in there. The pit tickets are $99. I'm like, oh, that's not bad. I go after fees, every ticket
Oh,
is $141.
oh yeah. I always forget about that, and then that's how it is. Like, oh, 99's not bad. Oh, fees. Jesus.
Ridiculous fees. Anyways, I get 3 tickets, one for me, my husband, and my cousin.
Yeah.
The show sells out during this pre-sale, like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Tickets are gone. And I was just sitting there on Ticketmaster watching like all these lines of tickets go.
Yeah.
And anyways, so that happened. Um my aunt, she's the one bringing my cousin to Vegas. They live in San Diego.
Mhm.
They're driving my cousin to Vegas, that way we can go to this concert or this
Yeah.
festival together and this concert now.
Mhm.
She was a little disappointed because on that Friday she was hoping to spend time with us, and of course Connor and I were going to fly in on Friday at like 2:50, I think is when we arrived, and then we'd have a little bit of time, or we'd be spending all day. But of course they announced this pre-show with like a day in advance basically,
Right.
so we
Mhm.
had 24 hours to basically get our minds made up.
Right.
Then since that show had sold out, they announced a second show on Thursday night. And so I talked to Connor. I'm like, hey, I'm a people pleaser, so I'm like, I feel really bad. I'm like, my aunt really wanted to spend time with us, and she's a little disappointed,
Mhm.
and I just felt bad. So I was like, okay, we moved our flight to Thursday,
Mhm.
And this time it's a direct flight. It's not a layover like our flight there. It was a layover in Denver. So anything could have happened. Like if there's weather or something, we could have gotten delayed either in Denver or in Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved the flight. I buy tickets to the Thursday show, which wasn't sold out yet. Or it wasn't sold out. I don't think it is yet
Mm-hmm.
either, because it was just open to public, but all these people had bought those Friday tickets. Well,
Right.
since the Friday show is sold out, I listed my tickets. Sorry, my cats are fighting. I was like, what the heck? I listed my tickets.
Mm-hmm.
I sold all 3. I ended up making $75 in profit. I didn't list them a ton above, but I undercut.
Right.
And I still ended up making $75
Nice.
after fees.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool. Somebody got pit tickets, which are probably happy, because I'm like, a lot more people are probably going to be there on Friday night for the show on Saturday, for the festival.
Right. Uh-huh.
But anyway, so we moved our flight. Wasn't a huge deal, but now I got to find a hotel. And I was like looking at this Fontainebleau, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like $250 a night at this hotel. I'm like, we only need one night, because after that we're getting Airbnb with my aunt.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so now I'm trying to find a hotel, which I'm looking at Hilton Resorts World, I guess, which is right across the street from the venue of this concert. So, because I want to be able to walk there. I don't want to deal with Ubers and crap. Because Ubers in Vegas are expensive.
Are they expensive?
But shout out to Archie Biscuit Butt. He actually messaged me and he's like, "Hey, I heard you're going to be here. Let me know if you need a ride from the airport. I live nearby." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." So shout out to Archie, and I know you watched the show.
I didn't know he was in Vegas.
I didn't realize until recently that he was. So yeah, shout out to Archie. Thanks for the offer.
Has he ever been on anybody's video, Biscuit Butt?
He was in Reseller Locker Room podcast.
Okay.
He was in it. I don't think he is anymore.
Okay.
As far as I know. I don't know.
I haven't watched anything in so long. Well, that's cool about Vegas. Do you have I have something, but I don't want to throw you off.
I think that's it. That's pretty much all I got.
That's cool though. You flipped the tickets, got some money.
Yep, we did, and I could see how people make money, flipping tickets, which I get it. This is like, this band is getting so large that the chances of you seeing them in a smaller venue like this is very slim.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to go because I was like, seeing my favorite band, 2 nights in a row, like that's insane. But now it's every other day, which is good because it gives us time to recover on that Friday and spend like all day with my family.
Yeah.
And then go to this festival and then fly home really early on Sunday, which I'm probably going to be hating myself after that. But it's a direct flight. It's just 8 a.m. We get back here at like 11 or noon. So
it's not that bad.
And then an hour drive from Omaha. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not bad. I'm not going to shut up about this concert and festival until it's done. Like, that's all I'm looking forward to right now. And garage sale season, of course. Awesome. But yeah.
I need something like, I need to find something like that. Well, my son's spring breaks in, I think it's the beginning of April. I'm going to find something for us to do. Like, I need to, you know what I mean? Get out of, go somewhere. I don't care where. Just see different scenery. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So, Planes to Profit. Now, I have not watched anybody's reseller content in weeks. Okay, sorry. I love you all that I usually normally watch, but I just, Anyway, I did get on. So the paranormal thing that I do, that my friends are doing, that we went to, they have a YouTube thing, and I was looking it up on YouTube. And anyway, I looked at my subscribe list, and I see that LaDonna was there.
Yeah.
LaDonna's like Queen of Glass. Did you pick her brain? She knows everything. Everything. Really? So I know, I mean, she'd be like, "Who are you?" But like the people that I watch and like the live sales. So I've talked about them before. Fat Birds, Mary Beth, and the Fat Bird ladies. They have a show and they do like a little Friday night live, and they started it during COVID and they keep doing it. And LaDonna's always on there, and they'll pull out like something that's glass and that nobody not sure what it is. And they're like, LaDonna, what is it? And she knows what it is. Like she
That's really
is
cool. No, I didn't get the chance to talk to her a ton, but I
yeah.
have been watching her videos ever
Yeah.
since. Like we got,
And
like we are all posting in this Facebook group for
mhm,
Planes to Profit. Like anyone that posts a video, which actually
right.
my Planes to Profit video will be coming out on Friday at 11
Nice.
a.m.
Okay, cool.
Central. So around the
And
time this one does,
and
but
I do when I get my head clear and I'm
Mhm.
ready. I'm prioritizing all the Planes to Profit things, but it did pop up like so my subscriptions were up and she was at the
Mhm.
top. She was like
Yeah.
Planes to Profit Part 1. I was like, "Wait, LaDonna was there?" Yeah, so if you know,
Yeah.
now you know who to ask about the glasses.
Who to
And
ask
she
about the
finds
glass?
she has like beautiful pieces like on her Instagram all the time that she
Hmm.
finds. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know she was famous.
Yep. Yep, that's her. Yeah, like I said, she'd be like, "Who?" to me, but like I know her from that because like, she knows all the glass. And I subscribe to
That's
her
really
too, so
cool.
yeah.
Um,
Anyway, so I
Speaking
will
of
be
glass,
watching everybody's videos soon.
eventually.
Yeah.
Speaking of glass, I rearranged my whole glass shelf, my famous color
You're
coded
mhm.
shelf, and I took out any pieces that glow, and I made a little spot on my shelf for black lights. So
Oh,
I
cool.
have all the
All
black light
black.
stuff sitting
Nice.
in front of a black light.
Yeah.
So I did that because I'm in the process of cleaning up because my friend that lives in Sioux Falls, she's gonna come visit me this weekend because I picked up this really cool glass vase and it's green and it looks like it glows like uranium glass. Why is my camera blurry? It must pick up a
Yeah,
face
it's
behind
the
me and
I
focus
know
on it.
I'm trying to look and I don't maybe it's what's one of your pink what's that with the pink
Oh, it's a
hair back there?
little, little, little stuffed animal. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is.
I don't know if it's
I don't know
picking
what
up
it's
that. You
called.
have to do what Pops and Grams do and put something.
Yeah, I might have to put tape
I
on
don't
it.
know because the background you look okay now, but the background's blurry now again. But like
No, let's change that. Maybe it'll correct itself.
yeah.
Anyways, we're just gonna chill like this. What was I saying? Oh, anyways, I found this green vase and it looked like it glowed green.
Hmm. Yeah.
But to my surprise, it's green and glows orange.
Really? I've never
Yes.
seen that. Now
And
see,
I
you need to
and
ask LaDonna.
it's pilgrim
Did you figure
glass. It
out
still has
Pilgrim?
the
Okay.
sticker on it.
Oh, okay.
And I looked it up and there wasn't a ton of comps, but I couldn't
Hmm.
find anything that glowed. But anyways, I showed
Hmm.
my friend a picture. I randomly show my friend in her name is Farah. She lives in Sioux Falls, but I sent
Hmm.
her a photo of like some things I find because we like the same stuff. We like weird trinkets and bones and
Right.
weird stuff. I sent her this. I'm like, look at this thing. And she's like, hey, my boyfriend really likes that. Can we buy it from you? How much do
Uh-huh.
you want? And I was like, friend discount. I'm like, I paid 10. I was like, just give me $20. Call it
Hmm.
good. And she wanted me to ship it. I'm like, why don't you just like I was like, when are you gonna come visit me? And she's like, oh, next weekend. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just hold
Yeah,
on to it for you.
right.
And they're gonna come shop my glass, I guess, or my stuff.
Oh, cool.
So I'm trying to like set up my eBay stuff nice so that way they can like kind of look at everything.
Yeah.
Because of course I love to sell to people that I know, and of course I'll give them a discount if they're here in
Hmm.
person.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's fun and it's nice. And I feel like she's picked up on stuff. Like I'll tell her about amberina and like different kinds of glowing glass and she picks up on it. And then she went to this antique show and she's like, look, it's amberina, and sent me a picture. I'm like, yep, that's amberina. So she's learning, she picks
Cool.
up off of what I say. So
That's cool.
um so yeah, I look forward to that because we don't really have people over. We haven't really had anybody over except for my parents, and that was on my birthday. So
Mhm.
this will be the first time I have somebody over in a while. And then my other friend, she also listens to the podcast, but she was just telling me how she felt like a horrible friend because she's way behind. But she lives in New York now, but I actually met her when I first lived here in Lincoln. And she ended up moving away, but now she's moving back.
Oh,
So I'm gonna have a
nice.
friend that lives here that she also likes to thrift a bunch. And I was telling her
Hmm.
like, hey, I'm like, you could probably help with like my YouTube content if like you want to just like follow me around with my camera. And she was down. So I'm like, hey,
Star.
so we might have some because I know that content like thrifting content that has like two people and the one person following the other around
Mm-hmm.
does better than if you're just sitting there like recording yourself. So, um, that opens up some new options for different kinds of videos. So I'm excited about
Oh,
that. But yeah, I'm just excited to have a friend to go thrifting with because it's hard to make friends as an adult. And I usually have like, I have two like friends that aren't like in the reselling community that are just like friends that I've made, and so that's
right.
really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really cool, and we are getting closer. We hit the 900 mark. Was it yesterday on, or I did on
You did.
subscribers, and we'll be
Using the
getting
royal we there.
to yeah,
That's
in
awesome. So you'll be
12 days I'll be on my 1 year YouTube versary. So I'm hoping to get
get the
around
1,000.
I need like 80 more or 90 more as of right
Nice.
now.
Awesome.
So fingers crossed it
Subscribe
happens.
subscribe to the Ink Picker if you haven't already.
Yes, and subscribe to Mo when she
Why
starts making
haven't you?
videos.
You can subscribe to me now. So I'll already have you when I
Oh, there
post
you
them.
go. There you go. Yeah, subscribe to Mo.
If I ever get my act together, we'll see. I have to list. I still haven't listed anything. I've sold a couple things this week. I still didn't list. I just, you know, just getting myself out of bed is about it.
Mhm.
But I do have stuff to list, and
Mhm.
I went down there and I looked because they were in my car for like a week. Those Salamaster pots and pans, and
Right.
they're in my living room currently. I'm like, where'd you put those pots and pans? He's like, they're right over there. I was like, oh, like I didn't even look. I was like, I'm just gonna leave them there because I'll wash them up and then I'll take them down to list them. But I do want to get them because they seem to sell pretty quickly. I would like to get to them.
Is it going to focus? I'm trying to get the camera to focus before we're done. I don't know what it's focusing on. What is it
I don't know.
focusing on? Oh,
Oh,
maybe it's my microphone.
maybe
It sees a
internet?
face maybe in here somewhere.
Hmm.
Anyways, I don't know. At least I know now. Okay. I'm trying to think what else to cover the next like 3 minutes that we have, but
I don't know.
just been keeping busy. I've been delisting a bunch of stuff, throwing on dollar auction because Steve and Donna over at Happy Art Treasures are
Mhm.
having a $1 yard sale at their house
Oh
on
yeah.
Saturday. And I
Mhm.
was like, hey, anything that I can't get to sell or I just don't want to deal with, can I just like give it to you guys and you guys just sell it and keep the money? And they said, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
it's kind of motivated me to go through some stuff, and like I've listed some stuff that wasn't quite good buys to at least recoup the money I pretty much spent on them because that's pretty
Yeah.
much what they're going to go for on dollar auction,
Right.
and then respend that money, this weekend when there's hopefully maybe some garage sales, or of course I've already seen a couple of estate sales get announced. So
And I will thank them. Like I got they gave me the names of those dollar auctions. They're like, oh, join
Mhm.
this one because she'll let you in so you can see how it's
Yeah,
done. And that was
yeah.
before all the stuff happened here personally in my personal life. But because I would like one here. I don't know that I personally want to start it, but and I don't know how well it would go around here. I don't
Mhm.
know. There's a lot of like buy sell dollar pages, and then like people just I guess if I started it, you just have to keep on it because I feel like people just start it and then it just goes to they stop and then it's just spam. Do you know what I mean? Like I've joined it and I've like gotten out of it because it's just spam. Um,
Mhm.
but it was very helpful, and I do look at those pages. And then Grams and Pops, did they start one or something?
They
Right?
did.
Yeah.
I
So as
haven't
I was,
checked on it, but I
I
am in
haven't
it.
looked at it.
Ooh,
I
I
was
just
in it
sold
too.
something.
I was in it too, but I haven't like they started it right before I kind of dropped off the face there. Then
Mhm.
so I wanted to look at that. And I also like how um you have to my mind is mush. Happy pickers. What are they? Happy Donna
Happy
and
Heart
Happy
Treasures.
Heart Treasures. Okay. Sorry guys. Love you. You're sweet. My mind is mush. Their porch setup. like, because they sell a lot of stuff like
Yes.
that, and just how they do it, and like it was very cool. Like, I don't think I'll ever be there, but it's very cool to see, So I
I
was
started
it's
doing
neat.
that actually since I'm
Yeah,
selling so much. It's
yeah,
hard to keep track. And usually I'd have it
right,
be message me when you're on the way. I'll set it out for you and I'd do it one by
right,
one.
uh-huh,
Now I did it. I sent a message, hey, it needs to be picked up within 48 hours. When would you like to pick up? Just to figure out what day. And
right,
then I took, actually, I have them right here. I took like any little envelopes, like, when you get like bills in the mail, I cut them in half, taped
mm-hmm,
this middle part, and then
mm-hmm,
I put the name, what they bought, and how much. And
yeah,
then I tape it to the item, and then once they drop it off, they put the money in there and throw the money under my doormat, and it works out. So that's what I've been doing this week, just because I've been listing so much that I didn't want to deal with having to make sure I'm home. Because I've had some instances where people were coming to pick up and I wasn't even home yet, so I had to like
right,
rush home.
right,
And yeah, so they have a really good system. They have like a
mm-hmm,
lockbox for their
yeah,
money, or a
mm-hmm,
little box like a drop box, which is
yeah,
cool, but their setup is very cool because they go through so much. It's just because of their sale and knowing that I can like pretty much donate my stuff to them, it's kind of
right,
given me like some urgency to like go through some of my inventory, figure out what I do and don't want to keep, and kind of like
mm-hmm,
do a clean out and give it to them.
yeah,
And but otherwise I usually donate it to Bud's, which is like my favorite thrift store.
mm-hmm,
But since it's Steve and Donna, I'd rather, give it to them since I know them.
yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
It's a good way. I feel like I have stuff that would do well in that way, but
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe summer slowdown or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Mhm.
I'll try something out. I have more, unfortunately, a little more time on my hands now. So,
Hey, that can be a good thing,
yeah.
but
Until until my
let
parents start to
yourself
fall
feel
apart again.
things and then
Yeah.
just you know.
I say that, knock on wood, then I'll get a text that somebody fell. I'll be like, anyway, yeah, no,
Oh,
but
uh,
yeah, yeah, I gotta get over the hump. I mean, it is what it is.
it's
It
hard.
is
It's
what
hard.
it
Like
is. Yeah.
I went through the same
Mhm.
thing 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and that was hard.
Yeah.
So it's just
Mhm.
it gets better. It
Yeah.
doesn't get easier. It just gets
Right.
easier to
Right.
manage
Mhm.
after time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
one thing that I did get for this trip, I won something off the dollar auction. Found this bag because I was looking for a nice carry-on bag, because
Mm.
originally the plan was we wanted to stuff all our crap in carry-ons so when we get to Vegas we don't have to wait for our
Right.
stupid
Mhm.
luggage, because last time we were there we stood there for like 45 minutes before our luggage came up. This was at like our flight was delayed, so we got there at like 2 a.m. or something stupid,
Mhm.
and we didn't end up getting to the hotel and like sleeping until like 5 a.m. It took forever.
Yeah.
I found this bag on the dollar auction and I won it for $8.
It's nice.
It's a Cynthia Rowley bag. I don't know
Okay.
where that brand is sold,
No, I don't know.
but there's like a
It's a
little
nice
tag.
looking bag.
But it's a nice like carry-on size,
Yeah.
and I didn't
Uh-huh.
expect to win it because people were actually bidding up on it. But I was like, that's a good carry-on size bag. They could throw like it's pretty big. So
Yeah.
because I was trying to look for a new like hard case carry-on, but they're
Mhm.
expensive.
Yeah.
And yeah,
They are.
I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. But anyway, so yeah, that's that one I can like probably carry with me because I like to keep my bags near me. I don't like to put them up in the overhead bins.
Okay.
So this is a good one to
Yeah.
like keep with
Yeah.
me.
I've flown several times where I just had like my personal bag and then a carry on,
Hmm.
and I that's all I took. The carry
I'm
on
gonna try to do
I
that.
put up top, which is fine because it's not like, and it like anything I immediately need is in the other bag.
Hmm.
It's so nice when you don't have to go to baggage claim. You just
Yes,
jet out.
that's what we want to try to do. Which my husband packs pretty light,
Hmm.
anyways.
If you get
So
those I have these things that are they're like vacuum bags, but you don't need the vacuum. So you put your stuff in it
yeah.
and then you roll it and squeeze, and the air goes out, but it doesn't come back in.
Hmm.
So if you don't mind being wrinkled, which I don't care, so I don't wear anything that needs to be ironed.
No.
Actually, one time I flew, I was going to a wedding, so we did pack a suitcase that had to be checked. But yeah, They're awesome. I forget where I got them. I've had them for years, but they're awesome. You can fit so much more in a bag with
Maybe
those.
I'll have to look into
Hmm.
that because usually it's the
Yeah.
clothes that take up the most room. And of course, it's
Yep.
gonna be Vegas in the
Hmm.
sum. Well, yeah, it'll be summertime,
Yeah.
April,
So
spring.
less
But it's
clothes.
not like I'm gonna be packing coats and stuff.
Right.
So
Exactly. You won't have like big boots. Well, you might. I don't know what shoes you'll wear, but
no, actually, at the fight with like every bone in my body to not wear my platforms that I want to wear. Um,
you get
but
you get
I'm actually wearing. I have plans to wear my Nikes because
uh-huh.
this is a 12-hour festival
Right. I was
and
gonna
it's
say
Vegas. So
you get to a point. You're still young, but you get to a point when you're old and you're like, I'm wearing sneakers. I'm wearing comfortable shoes. There's no way I'd be able to wear anything else but that for 12 hours.
yeah, yeah. I wore my platforms to that Disturbed concert I went
Hmm.
to, and I regretted it. It was 3 hours. The concert itself
Uh-huh.
was, and my feet were dead. And I'm like, there's no way I'm wearing these to Vegas.
Oh,
Plus,
3
packing
hours.
them, the ones I have
Yeah.
spikes on them. I don't know if they'd even let me put those on the plane. I'd have to check them
You probably would
probably,
have, you might have to
because
check them. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my boots and stab people with them.
That's
Anyways,
funny.
that's all I
Yeah.
got for this
Yeah,
week.
me too. Maybe next
Let
week
us
I'll
know.
sell something more than a squish. I sold a squishmallow last night. I gotta
Oh,
go
there you
ship it.
go.
That's maybe I'll sell more. We'll see. I'm sure you sold tons.
Um, actually, I had a low week last week, but this week's already gone off to a great start with
That's
sales.
nice.
So
That's nice. That's good.
I just sold something while we're sitting here. Is a little thing I picked up from a thrift store in Omaha. We went with Steve and Donna and resell the ride. So I found these like embroidery kit things. I could talk about them next week though, because
Oh yeah,
that's like
yeah.
hard to explain. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Cool. All right.
All right,
Well,
y'all.
everybody have a
Well,
good week.
we'll see ya next time
Yep.
on the Flippin' Fantastic podcast.
Bye.
Bye.